You know, many people remark that Ray J's constant defense of Beyonce and Jay-Z bothers them a little. As it turns out, the cleanup man is supposedly Ray J. Furthermore, it is stated that he and Beyonce were sharing a bed while Jay-Z looked on.
So I know that Jay-Z is a cuckold, right? He likes to watch Beyonce with other men. Ray J, from what I heard, even before all this happened, was one of the guys that used to smash Beyonce while Jay-Z would watch. Diddy, as we know, is into those things.
According to what I am hearing, Brandy is also aware that her brother and Beyonce had an affair, and there is proof of it on tape. To be clear, I have not personally witnessed anything. I am only delivering the tea as it has been spilled. The problem is that Ray J has been the target of years of side-eye from folks who wonder why he is always so eager to jump to Jay-Z and Beyonce's defense. Every time their names are mentioned in the news, Ray J appears and talks about loyalty, respect, and other such topics. Ray J, for example, criticized Jaguar Wright for her appearance on Piers Morgan Uncensored, where she blamed Diddy and Jay-Z for most of the squalor in Hollywood. Ray J defended them by stating, Ray J went on, "I mean, truly, we had to stop this kind of negative spirit and concentrate on building, not tearing down. Truth and integrity, not turmoil and uncertainty, are what our civilization needs more of. People were paying attention. We noticed you. Are you telling the truth? Because of how ridiculous this saint is. I did, however, come to the conclusion that you are a complete liar, and that you are making lies about me when I saw a report about me and what you had to say about me and past events. Therefore, it indicates that I do not regard you, or whatever you say. I am going to continue immediately. How dare you treat Beyonce and Jay-Z disrespectfully? Jay-Z is a pioneer. Never treat Beyonce disrespectfully. Why would someone like Ray J be out here supporting the Carters as if his life depended on it, even though this was not the only instance? His life does depend on it, and he is more involved with the Carters than we could ever think, if rumors on the street are to be believed. Let me introduce Rihanna's former publicist, Jonathan Hay. Yes, the same individual who was present when she first started pawned the replay, and he has also been connected to advancing this narrative. The wildest part? Jonathan himself implied that Ray J and Beyonce did, in fact, hook up. According to reports, Jay-Z was present and observing. It is really giving off a Hollywood swingers club vibe. The problem is that Jonathan was already receiving a lot of attention because he was Rihanna's publicist during the period when there were suspicions of an affair between Jay-Z. He also recently spoke in depth about the historical issue in an interview with All Hip Hop. He claimed that since he was upset with Hope at the time, and his attempt to get re-mentioned on MTV News did not generate the necessary buzz, he resorted to spreading the notion of the affair. He said, "Since Jay-Z seemed more interested in Tiara Marie, and there was a lot of talk that he was pursuing a rapper named Lady Sovereign, whom he eventually signed months later, I became desperate and furious with him." In addition, Jay-Z was continuously disparaging Emil, who at the time was raising her kids in North Carolina after being forced to leave the music business. That is the same Emil who claimed that Beyonce kind of vanished from the industry after outing Bey, and that she most certainly wanted to hook up with her. Jonathan now added, he claimed that federal authorities had stopped him because they were closely monitoring Jay following his altercation with Lance on Rivera, and that he was also being linked to an incident involving R. Kelly during their joint tour, halted him, and the threatening people identified themselves as a federal task team. They asked to speak with him, so he followed them, completely terrified. That is what he said. He realized the seriousness of the situation as he sat in the bleak, improvised interrogation room and was being questioned. They were looking into Hove for allegedly transferring Rihanna unlawfully over foreign boundaries and participating in X-rated activities with her before she turned 18. The federal government stated she was not alone, he said. There were plenty more. Since then, Jonathan has been revealing a lot of information about Jay-Z and Beyonce, including the fact that Jay-Z is apparently fond to transgender people, honey. Did I say allegedly? That is besides the point, all right.
Dame Dash knows when they were going on tour that Jay-Z used to have transgender women on there. On the tour bus, he knows that. He knows that Jay-Z used to prefer transgender women. So I don't know why. I wish Dame Dash would come out and, you know, say everything, but maybe in his own way, he's trying to, you know, protect the hip hop culture and knows how many people could be crushed if he came out and really spoke about Jay-Z's secret.
Today we are more intrigued by Jonathan's explicit statement that Jay-Z enjoys watching Beyonce with other men because he enjoys that type of content. He continued by saying that, based on what he had heard, Ray J was among the men who were destroying their partner as Jay looked on.
But yes, Ray J, from what I was told, from being inside at the highest level, that Jay-Z likes to watch Beyonce with different men, such as Ray J.
I mean, if I'm being honest, nothing really surprises me with Hollywood. Furthermore, it is even more credible given Jonathan's assurance when uttering such statements. Furthermore, many people are expressing that these statements do not even surprise them. Why? Because Beyonce apparently has a lengthy history of being a little, let us say, loose behind the scenes, according to the streets. Furthermore, it is not all that stunning to hook up with Ray J while Jay-Z was around. As a point of reference, there have been numerous rumors circulated concerning Beyonce's early days. There have also been claims that Pimp C's death was connected to a tape he was purportedly planning to release with Beyonce.
Who was in this Pimp C tape?
All I can tell you, there was a famous R&B chick, and it was a guy that was getting money at the time. And, you know, Pimp, he used to be in the studio. And every now and then he'd have a camcorder, so he was able to get some footage. And he wanted to do something with the footage, but I don't know why he didn't do nothing with it. But if I could have got a hold of that tape, I'd be a billionaire, man. Whoever it was, they would have to kill me, man. I know TMZ would have paid a bank for that one, man. But yeah, it is a tape, and if you read the comments, a lot of people figured out. Okay. A lot of people figured out because, you know, people that was in Houston at the time, they know who was a little loose. 3-6 Mafia's DJ Paul claimed that things were simply not adding up. He added that Pimp's manager had reported seeing Pimp's body lying down as if in prayer, but with blood all over it, as if he had been struck. Since there was blood all over the place, they assumed he had been struck in the head, but they had no idea what had happened. DJ Paul claimed that Pimp was kneeling as if in prayer and that all of the candles had burned out. He regularly lit those candles to go to sleep, so they realized he had likely been dead for a day or so. Additionally, there was a report that Jay was involved. The fact that Jay-Z and Pimp C were already involved does not help either. Additionally, Record executive Greg Taylor shared a story about an embarrassing phone call with Jay-Z and Pimp C in an episode of The Art of Dialogue. According to the tale, Jay-Z called Pimp C soon after the agreement to work with UGK on Big Pimpin' was canceled. He then broke the news to Pimp C during the call, which was regrettably on loudspeaker. Pimp C then openly criticized Jay-Z and demanded that he give Tupac's mother the money he had promised them.
We set it up a meeting to go meet with Dame Dad. So we go after I leave Java, go to Rock, to the Rock. As soon as I sit down there, Dame Dash opened up his checkbook, cut a check for $1 million. I'm like, whoa. He like, I was like, is this for sure? He was like, no. He said, we want to UGK. I was like, what? He was like, we want to with your boys. That's right. So I immediately picked up the phone and called Pimp C, because all I was trying to get was 100,000. When Dame cut that $1 million, I called Pimp on the phone like, yo, Pimp, and him and Jamal was in the house. And I could hear a tussle or some type of confrontation, right? And I'm like, calm down, bro. Y'all calm down, Pimp.
I ran up the cable bill.
They was fighting. They was fighting like hard. And I'm like, Pimp, stop whatever you doing right now. I told you what's going down with Jamal when you moved him up in there. I said, but right now, I got $1 million check for you. All we wanted was 100,000. I was just like, who is that with? I said, with Rockefeller. He was like, what? I was like, yeah. He was like, I'm watching Dan with the checkbook, he writing it out. He was like, ain't that with, over there with Jay-Z? I was like, yeah. He was like, man, tell him to take that check and go give it to Tupac Mama, man. He's gonna be stealing all my shit. I was like, what?
In any case, there were also rumors that Beyonce and Mos Def were having an affair. Although neither Beyonce nor Mos Def have ever publicly acknowledged a romantic relationship, and their recorded collaborations and public interactions are mainly related to their professional work, there were rumors back in the day that they were involved in a romantic relationship. Cypher Sounds even shared a story about spending a weekend with Destiny's Child early in Beyonce's career, before she had reached her current level of fame. In the end, Cypher Sounds thought Beyonce was really cool, despite his initial admission that he was not all that thrilled with her because he thought she was a pop singer. However, as he described that encounter, he made it clear that he recalled that Bey and Mos were undoubtedly playing around.
I DJ'd for Mos Def, and we went over to London for some shows, and Destiny's Child was performing there. And I don't know if you know this, and don't tell anybody if you don't, but Mos Def kind of used to mess with Beyonce.
Other accusations surfaced here and there, and let us not even talk about the rumors that circulated that Queen Bey was truly on the defensive.
And she was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough, because she just started all the girls.
Therefore, it is not out of the question to many that she hooked up with Ray J while Jay was looking on. The child lip is real. It gives the Carters a completely different perspective on Ray J's unwavering ride-or-die attitude. It is a hush-hush agreement with a guilty conscience. Since Ray J has already gone too far with their small arrangement, some people on the internet are even conjecturing that this is the reason he remains faithful. However, this is when things get really crazy. According to rumors, Ray J's sister Brandy supposedly caught him and Beyonce together in the past. Yes, you heard correctly. These rumors claim that Brandy entered the room where the two of them were in a precarious predicament. The tea does not end there either. Some people are even claiming that there is a tape out there similar to Beyonce's purported tape with Pimp C or Ray J's notorious predicament with Kim K. One can speculate as to whether this tape is real or perhaps an urban legend that the internet will not let go of. However, this story takes an even more bizarre turn because people are even considering the possibility that Brandy was a witness. Imagine, for example, that your sister is the one who discovers you involved with one of the world's largest celebrities. Personally, baby, I am not sure what to believe. However, please leave a comment below if you think Ray J's extreme defensiveness toward the Carters is inappropriate. 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 Toward the Carters